Take a look at our guests for today. First up we have Alain. Alain specializes in construction, maintenance and demolition. Then we have Bayo, and he's all about living eco-friendly. And of course Lazar. Lazar's all about urban and city sustainability. Coming right back to Alain. Alain, you're all about construction. Where does the eco-friendliness come in? Is that the architect's job, the client's job, or does that happen with the contractors?
It's up to the client. It falls on the client, the architect, and construction.
So everybody.
But it's everybody, but it's mostly the architect's responsibility to implement those eco-friendly ideas. It's the client's. It's his own initiative to push the architect to go for those, and it's during the construction process, it's the contractor's job to initiate those.
To make sure it happens.
Exactly.
Okay. You say it's the architect obviously designs it. What kind of things would an architect put into place to make a building eco-friendly?
Well, you can use things like passive solar design, which gets rid of the old school air conditioners and things, and makes use of things like cross ventilation, things like solar shading, solar panels, green roofs, insulation, double glazing, things like that, to move away from the more machine manufactured ways of cooling the building down.
There's so many different ways to be eco-friendly. I think nowadays architects don't even have excuses, hey? It's crazy. The other thing that I wanted to find out is, say an architect had designed an office. How are office buildings nowadays made eco-friendly?
Well, there's a lot of energy consumption in office buildings and a lot of waste. So ways that office buildings can become more efficient and sustainable, they can separate their waste into different bins, so that cans can be recycled separate from paper. So this process is sped up, and they can also benefit from it. And companies can use paper on both sides instead of one, and email documents instead of printing them out.
So it's all these little things that you can actually save.
And as well as refurbish furniture instead of buying new furniture.
Okay. So when it comes to construction, let's say we fast forward and the building's complete. What do you do with what can somebody do with leftover materials? Like, how do you sort of recycle, reuse, or do you just distribute that?
After the construction is complete, there's always a lot of things that are left over, like this paint that's left over. All these things can be donated to Habitat for Humanity, and these people, they use the leftover resources to complete projects that they currently busy with.
Wow, that's really cool. So the next step would obviously be maintaining this building after it's built, which is why we have Bayo in the studio today. Bayo, how exactly would I improve my already built home? Like, how could I make that environmentally friendly?
You can make this home environmentally friendly by, for example, having plants, like pot plants. By doing this, like, once you breathe out your carbon dioxide, and the plant takes that in. It gives out oxygen. So instead of using like air conditioners and all these machine devices, you could use that.
So plants help in cooling as well?
They actually help in cooling.
And when it comes to the reuse of furniture, is there any way that can sort of be helpful to improve the environment? Can it even be done, or would it literally be taking my mom's couch and putting it in my room? Like, is it possible to reuse furniture?
Like reusing furniture, like instead of buying a new furniture, you could maybe remove the material that's currently on it. Like maybe it's a leather couch. Instead of buying new furniture,
so just redoing the finish.
Yeah, because by buying a new one, you're actually encouraging cutting down trees. And when you cut down trees, they release the gases, the carbon dioxide, monoxide gases into the atmosphere, which causes.
Are those good or bad gases? Those are bad gases.
Yeah, so we need to plant more trees, to actually prevent global warming. So reusing the wood in the furniture could actually help reduce cutting down trees.
And it would say that's eco-friendly. It's funny that you mentioned trees, because I do believe that we have green belts. Lazar, what can you tell me about green belts?
Greenbelts are specific areas left unbuilt by the city that usually are parks most of the times. And the way a community can help with those things and keep them maintained is have once a year maybe have a plant a tree day, so everybody goes and plants a brand new tree, keeping the city green, and then keeping their own gardens green so they don't pave the entire front yard and things like that, or put a giant pool.
In South Africa, I do believe that's what September's all about. It's all about planting trees. It's,
Yeah.
You have Arbor Day as well.
Keeping it green.
Keeping it green. What can you tell me about children and how they can help in the city space when it comes to sort of improving or maintaining the eco-friendliness?
Children can help quite a bit, even though they're quite young. I mean, they can start at a young age already to know how to recycle their waste, separating into plastics, paper, and so forth. And then they can know how to save up water, don't waste water. And other things is they can volunteer to clean those parks and green belts and beaches, so everything's clean and the city keeps fresh.
Okay. And that's on a really small scale. How would you recycle, reuse, and reduce on a larger scale, on an urban scale we're talking about?
Okay, well, actually the recycling is used a lot by companies that manufacture, let's say a newspaper printing company. They have a lot of paper, and they go through a lot of paper, and they create much more waste than more household, obviously. So they should really, such businesses should try and recycle that paper that they waste. Glass shops, things like that, materials that could be recycled can easily be recycled, and they get paid for it. So it's a bonus for them instead of paying waste tax.
On a more personal level, with regards to transport, everybody that works obviously uses that. How do we go about reducing the energy sort of consumed by transport, the gas that we release by that? Is there a way to reduce that? Is there a way to stop it? Or does everybody just have to buy one of those eco-friendly vehicles?
Not everybody has to buy one of those eco-friendly vehicles. I mean, the easiest thing is to move close to where you work or you study. That way you can walk to your workplace, or you can cycle, which is very economic. It saves you a lot on car maintenance, not only being the environment, but also on your own pocket. And then other thing is, if you can't move to that area, you can always form lift clubs with other people that work with you, and that way save a lot of petrol and money.
I see.
Or
So many good ideas.
Yeah, and then the city itself is responsible to introduce a public transport system. Like our city here, the city of Cape Town, introduced the BRT, which is a bus rapid transport system, which is used quite a bit from the northern suburbs to get into the central business district.
So basically, if everybody does their bit, we can in fact be an environmentally friendly city.
Yes.
That's
So
fantastic.
it starts with you. Everybody must change a little bit, and a grand total will change everything.
You heard it from the man himself. It most definitely does start with you. Thank you so much for joining us on our first episode of Going Green.